Hello and welcome back to this course of videos on Node.js and Express. Now in the last video we introduced you to something called SPAs, which are single page applications, and it's a methodology for building websites that minimizes contact with the server and minimizes full page refresh. So the idea is that you download as much as you can of the application on the first load to the client, and then use JavaScript on the client to modify the application based on the user request. So it really gives a feel more like an installed desktop application. And although this is a set of videos on Node and Express, which is server side, I am going to quickly walk through what I've done here in line with the SPA framework methodology to show you the behind the scenes of the app, how it's going to look going forward. So you can see here I have added 3 tabs, and these 3 tabs are functional now. I wanted to add a register tab because I want to be able to, previously if you remember when we entered the username and we hit submit or go, we did a fake database request to the server and brought back the data dynamically and to dynamically populate the page. Now I actually want to submit this data to a database. So I needed a registration page, but these 3 pages, I am not, the browser is not refreshing, doing a full page refresh each time I navigate between these 3, because all 3 pages are already on the client on the first load. You'll notice here I'm using hashing navigation here to move between the 3, and all that's happening is I'm using JavaScript to change the display property in CSS between none and block. That's all I'm doing. Now, if we take a look at our folder structure here, you can see I no longer have my views folder. My views I initially used for rendering pages on the server side. So doing the dynamic work of incorporating data into my pages was done on the server side, then sent to my browser. Now we don't need our views anymore, because what we're doing is we're downloading all of our HTML, CSS and JavaScript on the first load, and then any more requests for data are being done by Ajax, and then the work of making the pages dynamic is being done on the browser side. So I don't need my views folder anymore. I don't need EJS anymore. So I'll show you what that's been replaced with. So here is my index.html file. So what we have here is my head, my body. Here's my navbar. This is all was all there previously. The difference is now you can see here's my main container that I've moved into now. You can see that I have my home page has a class of page and an ID of home page. This class of page is important. And then here's my home page, but my next page, my register page, I'm still in the index.html, but I'm beginning my register page here. Again, I have my class of page, which is important. My ID here is reg page for register page. Now here's my register page, and then here is my about page. Again, class of page, ID about page. So you can see all 3 pages that you saw me navigating between over here, they're all contained in this index.html page. So to look at the way we can actually get this navigation that we're doing between these, we'll look at main.js, and this event listener here, window.onHashChange, is what is making this work. So you can see that I've added this event listener, window.onHashChange, and the function that it's calling is render, and what render is being passed is window.location.hash. So basically every time this hash changes, so you can see the hash changes every time I click on my hyperlinks here, just to look at the hyperlinks, you can see my hyperlinks are in my nav bar here. So each of these LIs, you can see that my hrefs are using the hash keys. So every time we navigate, every time we click on any of those, the onHashChange event listener fires, runs this render function which passes window.location.hash, which is this piece here after the /. And if we look at the render function, very, very simple. The first thing it's doing is it's hiding all the divs. So it's looping through all of our divs because we're doing a query select all on the page class, which was attached to all 3 of our pages, if you remember. And I'll go back and just remind you. So each of our 3 pages has a class of page. You see, there's the second page there. So we're looping through all of these nodes, and then changing the display on where we're using style.display and setting it to none. You can ignore this. This is just for the navigation bar and setting the active class. This is the second piece of code. What we do now, the first piece of code here hides all of our divs, so hides all of our pages, and then this piece of code here decides which page is going to be set back to block status. So based on the hash key, which I said is what's passed after the /, we are then, for example, if in this case where it's hash home, I'm actually going to take the first node, which is our home page, and then set the display to block to make it visible again. So really that's all there is to it. This is how we are navigating between these, and obviously because we're using these hash keys to navigate, then the back and forward buttons are going to be functional as well. So I hope this gives you a good idea of the way that SPAs function. And in the next video, we will continue to use the SPA framework, and we will be looking at creating a database request to MongoDB. So I look forward to seeing you then.